Good morning, Western Washington, and happy Monday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and today we're going to take a look at the forecast for the next couple days with the fog and cold temperatures, and we'll take a look at the extended forecast and some interesting stuff that's showing up there. So right now we're looking at this interesting satellite view. This is called nighttime microphysics imagery. And what you're seeing basically is different cloud types reflected back to the satellite here. So you can see fog over most locations in western Washington, kind of sporadic in some places, especially north of Everett. You can see some clear areas as soon as you get a little bit toward the foothills. But down here from Seattle or from Everett southward there, you can see fog and low clouds across most of the area, including around SeaTac Airport there, which could be causing some delays. And you can see what high clouds show up like on this type of satellite imagery as well, with these high clouds off the coast. And then you can see a lot of low clouds influenced by the inversion there in eastern Washington, all the way up into the valleys of British Columbia. So it's a pretty foggy and cloudy morning out there. So let's take a look here. What we're looking at is visibility. This is what's currently being reported as of 7:20 a.m. You can see some pretty low visibility, around a quarter of a mile at SeaTac Airport, and similar visibilities of a half mile to 1¼ miles across parts of the southwest interior, and then a quarter mile there at Payne Field, and up to 1½ miles in Bellingham, with some low visibility across other parts of western Washington. Most areas along the I-5 corridor have visibility of a quarter mile to about 1½ miles there, and you can see some of that fog even extends up into Canada there, with Vancouver International reporting 3 miles of visibility, and same on the coast there. But you can see there are some clear spots, including around the San Juans and along the Strait there. So let's take a look at that fog forecast. We're looking at the HUR model here for 7 a.m. You can see as we go through the morning, this dense fog across most of the area will continue before it likely starts to break up by noon. Most areas should be fog-free by 1 p.m. with some lingering areas of fog, including around Olympia and Bellingham. That should diminish nearly completely by about 4 p.m. there. And then as we pick this up around 5 p.m., you can see this is the NAM forecast now, and you can see how it shows fog starting to rebuild back across the area by this evening into tonight by 10 and 11 p.m. It's foggy across most of western Washington, and that's going to continue all the way into Tuesday morning there before it likely starts to burn off midday, but may not burn off at all for some areas, with fog just building right back in by Tuesday night into Wednesday morning there. And we could be dealing with some areas of freezing fog, and as you see as we go through Wednesday, the fog starts to burn off around 11 to noon, but will linger in some spots. We'll continue looking at that over the next couple days. So we are going to have this temperature inversion. We talked about this yesterday in the video, and an inversion is basically where this colder air is trapped at the surface, and you have warmer air above that. So you can see here in the NAM forecast for today's highs across western Washington, areas in the mountains are reaching the mid to upper 40s, even the low 50s. You can see 48 there at Paradise, while it only reaches 38 somewhere like Graham. So the higher temperatures are found at higher elevations. This is even more pronounced in parts of eastern Washington there, where you can see Snoqualmie Pass is warmer than somewhere like Easton and Cle Elum. So you can see it in the Olympics as well. But today, with the fog and cold air trapped at lower elevations, most of western Washington will only reach the upper 30s to low 40s there, with some mid 40s on the coast and up in the northwest interior there, and then the mountains will likely reach the upper 40s to low 50s. As we go into Wednesday, you can see that with some denser fog and cooler temperatures to start the day, highs across the lowlands will only reach the mid-30s to low 40s, so some spots will be staying in the 35 to 37 degree range, but you can see that really strong inversion over the mountains there, with highs in the upper 40s to mid-50s, some mid-50s there around Mount Rainier in the mountains there, while the lowlands only stay in the mid-30s, so a really pronounced inversion. The other thing that this brings is very cold morning temperatures. So this morning, temperatures reached the low to mid-30s. We have some areas of freezing fog, but generally the area did remain just above freezing. However, that may not be happening the next couple of nights. Here is the NAM forecast for lows as of Tuesday morning here. You can see Tuesday morning lows across the region likely in the upper 20s to low 30s, with some really sheltered areas along the foothills there, and from Olympia southward reaching the mid-20s. and this will likely bring freezing fog across the area, which can put down a very quick glaze of ice across some overpasses and similar surfaces like that. Another thing to note here is you can see the impact of the inversion at night, with lows in the mountains in the mid to upper 30s, with some areas staying in the low to mid 40s, while the lowlands drop into the upper 20s to low 30s. And you can see that is again more pronounced in eastern Washington, with some of that cold air sneaking into Snoqualmie Pass, dropping the low to 31, but places like Cle Elum and Ellensburg, they're in the upper teens to mid-20s. So it's just really interesting to see how this inversion impacts the temperatures and how the forecast models pick up on it so well. So let's take a look at the overall forecast here. We have a big ridge over us right now, and that is what's helping to cause this inversion and stagnant air. That ridge continues through Wednesday, and then you can see we start to have this break in the ridges, and this is going to be some systems moving in, which we'll take a look at in a minute. And then this ridge is going to build over the area, but we're going to have some atmospheric river activity riding up on the top of this ridge, and that's going to move through western Washington Friday and Saturday potentially. There is some uncertainty with that still, and then as you can see as we go into Sunday, there is some more ridging offshore that could continue to build, but we'll take a look at that over the next few days. So taking a look at precipitation type here, you can see we remain dry over the next few days here. This is all the way through Tuesday and then Wednesday. And then as we go into Wednesday evening, you can see this system moving into the area, kind of dying as it gets close to us, but potentially bringing some showers across the area on Thursday. Those showers will linger into early Friday morning before this atmospheric river activity takes aim at parts of Vancouver Island and western Washington there, really hitting Vancouver Island there on Friday before pushing south across western Washington on Saturday with showers and some areas of mountain snow lingering into late Saturday into early Sunday. So if we look at the ensemble forecast here for SeaTac Airport, you can see the green line is the ensemble average, and this blue line is the control run, which is the initial conditions best we know them. And then all these faint gray lines are the different ensemble members, which kind of give you the range of what is possible. And as we look at this atmospheric river here, you can see it's going to be a pretty progressive one, so it's not going to hang out over the area for too long, likely only bringing about an inch of rain with it. But you can see after potentially another ridge here through part of early next week, by the end of next week, we start to get more active there with both the ensemble mean and the control run showing an increase in rain totals as we go into mid-December, which could signal a more active pattern coming up. But we've got a while to get to that here. As you can see, no rain all the way through Thursday, then that potential atmospheric river activity, they're bringing about an inch, then another ridge next week, which is why this rain graph flattens out here. And you can see there's pretty good support for that across all the ensembles, and then we start to get more active potentially toward the middle of the month. So as always, if you want more updates on that and on the fog situation and the inversion and cold temperatures over the next couple of days, be sure to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and share these videos. That's the best way to help Western Washington weather grow. So stay tuned, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.